Hi there, thanks for joining us on Let's Talk Taste with Sherry, where we're saving the earth one flavor at a time by gathering community to share wisdom around the natural connections between our innate sense of taste and flavors that are grown in healthy regenerative soils. Welcome. Hi there, Sherry Hess with The Flavor Remedy. Thanks again for joining me for another episode of Let's Talk Taste with Sherry, saving the earth one flavor at a time. All right, you guys, today is a really, really special day for me. I have an honored guest here with me. He is a friend. He is a cohort. He is an amazing man. He and I met, just to give you a quick little background, we actually met back in the days when I was creating spice blends. If you've seen my episode with my bio, you know that I've been in the food industry for a long time, but part of what I did was develop spice blends for health purposes. And that is exactly how I met this gentleman. So I want to welcome Butch Hunter, founder of Meravation, chief executive officer. Butch has an amazing background. He's worked in the pharmaceutical industry, pharmaceutical distribution, the biotech industry for 25 years. And he is now creating amazing, amazing nutritious bites for cancer patients called Oncobitez. So welcome, Butch. Welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you so much. I mean, you don't understand how much of an honor this is. I've been looking forward to be on your show. I watch each of your podcasts that come out through my LinkedIn and Facebook, and
Thank you.
Had such great guests. It's going to be kind of hard to follow up some of those ladies, but it'll be fun. I'll do my best.
I think you got this. There's no doubt in my mind. You know, what you're doing is just so powerful and so important. And so let's just start off by talking about, what is an oncobite and why is it so important?
Well, I'll tell you that, just to give you a little background on where Oncobitez actually initiated. When my daughter was in her early teens, I mean, she suffered from a chronic stomach disorder called gastroparesis. And she was literally in Children's Hospital at least a week or two a month for 2-3 years there. And I went in one day and they had actually just put a feeding tube in. And it started making me think about, dang, why does she have to have a tube? There should be something that I could get her in a real small bite, because she's small. She's 105 pounds. I mean, she's a small lady. But something that I could get really dense nutrition in a small bite that she could get it down, just to keep from them having to do all of the extra things that they were having to do through the feeding process. And the more I got to thinking about it, I got to thinking, hey, a lot of these patients, these cancer patients that I walk by every day in the waiting room, as I do my business throughout the cancer centers, are experiencing the same side effects that my daughter was experiencing, with the nausea and the vomiting and the upset stomach, breaking through their antiemetics and not being able to control any of that. So I knew there had to be something out there better. And I started from that point. As I traveled throughout the country, I started speaking with different oncologists and different practices and just asking them, hey, when you have a patient ask you, understand that I'm going to be sick if I'm on this particular chemotherapy that you're putting me on. What do you suggest I eat? What should be my diet? And every one of them gave me a different answer. And there was really nothing definitive. So then I knew that there was obviously a problem that needed a solution. And one of my best friends happens to be an oncologist in Alabama, and he's my partner in this company. He's the co-founder. And I went to him and we started talking about it. I asked him the same question. What do you tell these patients when they ask, what can I eat? And he said, I recommend a pack of Ritz crackers, 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, 2 at night. So the morning, noon to night, just giving the patients the opportunity to get some calories, if not all at once, throughout the day. So I actually went back to Birmingham. He lives in Dothan. I went back to Birmingham, pretty much put a for sale sign in our yard, said that we were moving to Colorado so that I could start this company. And I started building the product. I would send it back to Scott. He would test it with his patients. We made adjustments. And we've really got a product now that we're getting tremendous feedback. And as you know, I mean, it's really helping patients. You know, the days when I get down on myself and I just want to say, hey, you know, this is too tough, I'll get some sort of success story from some patient saying, thank you so much for doing this. I can't drink another sugary, milky drink.
Yeah.
So,
And
long way around to your question, but there's a
no,
lot into this. It's been going on for 8 years, and
yeah.
I'm obviously very passionate about it, so I can talk about it as long as, you know, we need to go.
Yeah. And you know what, everything you said is so true. The background is really important. The, you know, the connection to your family is huge. I mean, this is why we do things, right? We go through tragedy, we go through hard times in our lives, and we want to make a difference. And that's such an integral part of your story. So you know, I think that's just such a beautiful part of why this is being created. And just for full transparency, I am part of on the Oncobitez team as well. I'm actually the recipe developer. I'm the one who goes in and consults with Butch and creates the original recipe that we then take to food scientists, you know, to make sure that we have the food safety and that we have everything that we need in order to bring a quality product to the market. So just to be transparent about that. And the other thing I think is important to recognize here is you talked about how you moved your whole family here to Colorado. And you know, there's a bigger vision here with this product. Right now, it's a completely food-based product, which is important to talk about here, right? Like the ingredients of what we're doing with Oncobitez, it was always in your mind, in Scott's mind, and everyone's mind, this is a nutrition first product, right? But that the end game here is that you moved to Colorado because you want to be able to provide you know, what we can legally do here in Colorado, and that is to provide a CBD and then eventually, right, stepping it into a CBD THC type thing. I mean, that's a long-term goal here, and there's, you know, lots of science and backing for the importance of this product, right? But what I love so much about it is that you're starting with a product that is accessible to everyone, right? Scott can take it to Alabama. We can have this product support everyone who's going through cancer anywhere in the country by having it be this food first product. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the ingredients. And in particular, we met, right, because of the spices. You met me at the farmer's market when I was selling spices. You looked at this and you're like, health and spices? I want that. And I'm putting words in your mouth. I'm sorry, I should be asking you questions.
No, it's we've had, you're 100% correct. I mean, we've talked about it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome because I literally was just walking by your booth, and that was the second weekend we were in town. We had just moved to Colorado. We knew no one. And we happened to be driving around just trying to figure our way around the neighborhood and stopped at the farmer's market. I was walking around and I had in my mind that I wanted a chef and I needed someone to help me build the recipes and the spice blend, but I wasn't sure exactly who and what and how I should go about that. I mean, I had never built a company before. And when you pack your family up and you move 1,200 miles away, you don't necessarily move all your connections and people you know and things like that. So we had to start from scratch.
Right.
And I always want to give that credit to our team because all of this wouldn't be possible if I hadn't been able to come across the people that have truly made it happen. Yourself, Dr. McAllister, Kelly, Conley, the food scientist, Riley, our oncology dietitian. I mean, just everything that's happening, Jill and everything that she's done. Those people were put in our path for this product to be made available to these patients.
Right.
And then through Scott and I's connections and opportunities, we're able to make it part of the discussion in the cancer centers. You know, we're not trying to go out and sell this product at CVS or on Amazon.
Right.
This product was built to be part of the treatment protocol at a cancer center, because if you read any multidisciplinary approach statement now, it has every specialty pretty much you can guess, except for nutrition. That's the one piece that's not in that multidisciplinary approach. And when I started this company, I think I remember saying it to you that I wanted Oncobitez to be responsible for putting that nutrition in that multidisciplinary approach. So we've partnered with the cancer centers, to where our product's not just, you know, another product you can get anywhere, but it's in your treatment centers, and it's where it's linked up with what is going to make your journey better, which is your antiemetic. If you take Oncobitez days 2, 3, and 4 along with your antiemetic, the journey is just going to be easier. That's the feedback that we're getting from the patients. And that the call that we had yesterday with the nurse manager, that is exactly what she was relaying to us. You know, is that feedback steady coming in.
Yeah,
A
and it's
great
so
job
huge.
on the formula. It works.
Yeah.
That's what's great.
So let's just talk a little bit about that, just so people because people aren't really familiar, right? So everything about Oncobitez, all the ingredients are real food ingredients. And a lot of what we've been working on is, you know, a comparison between the liquid drinks that are kind of the go-tos for doctors who, you know, a lot of physicians admit, and it's a pretty well-known fact that physicians aren't really trained a lot in nutrition. I mean, the fact that it's not even offered in a multidisciplinary, you know, stage kind of confirms that, right? Nutrition is this kind of unknown, and that people like myself, and the whole reason that I did the spices was because you get to a point where you kind of give up on your doctors. You're like, you can't help me, and all you want me to do is drink this liquid that I can't even swallow. You know, it's really important, I think, to really highlight that Oncobitez is real food ingredients, in addition to not just being real food ingredients, because there's a lot of good, high quality, real food ingredients out there, but they're not focused specifically on cancer patients' needs, right? So our first product that we released is the Oncobitez honey ginger date flavor, and there's 8% real ginger in this product, right? So this is the first product that we released, and we had to navigate that level of ginger in the product. Can you speak to that a little bit about how, you know, what Scott's feedback and his concerns were around that, and how what did that lead to in this product? Because I feel that that's a huge correlation to the message that I'm bringing here, as well as around the importance of flavor, right?
100%, Sherry. And, you know, that was one of my initial objectives when I set this company up, was that I have worked for companies in the past that would build a product, say for a cancer center, and not have the cancer center involved with the building or the input of the product. And then we would be told to go and tell the cancer center, this is what we think you need to handle this to be this solution to your problem here. I wanted Oncobitez, the patient, to tell us what they needed and what they wanted, and then we built it. So going back to speaking to how that worked and how we did that with Scott, I mean, we were a little bit concerned initially that the spice, or that ginger, that 8% fresh ginger, would affect patients with mouth sores. But Dr. McAllister's dad actually has throat cancer or mouth cancer, and he had an active mouth sore at the time Scott let him try. And he said that I was watching him real close to see if he you know, had any kind of emotion to biting into him. And he said it didn't even phase him. He ate all 3 bites and was pretty much like, hey, you got another pack of these. So we tested it with the patient. And it goes back to, you know, patients with this first one, you talk about navigating through these flavors. The protein amount, you know, when we first brought this, that was one of the things that we really got hit with from the dietitians and even some of the physicians, was that, why is it so low in protein? Well, that wasn't our choice. That was what the patients chose, because we went all the way up to 9 grams of protein, but the patients said it was like eating a protein bar that they got from the 7-Eleven, you know, and we didn't want it that way. We want a product that's soft, that's very easy for these patients to eat. That way, all these patients benefit from the real food part of it. Right. And then the actual differences in how we built the product. And by the way, the spice blend's patent pending now. I mean, our patent paperwork has been submitted. So that tells you that it's special and that it was developed for a specific purpose. And to add back to that, lots of times these patients have all of these different spices that we've combined into one in individual containers, individual servings that they're trying to keep up with. You know, how do you do that? You don't know the quality of it. You don't really know where it came from. And that's another objective of one of our top objectives is quality. So our spices are the utmost quality, the herbs and that blend is utmost quality. We know where it's coming from. And we've put the blend together that is what we think working with these patients is the most beneficial to the side effects that they're going to be experiencing on chemotherapy.
Right. And I love that so much. And I love, just to add a little bit to the story about the ginger, you know, we did get a little feedback that it was spicy or that some people didn't like it. Right. And I think there was even a little bit of a pushback from Scott, like, I'm concerned, right, about this. And we had deep conversations about the benefits of ginger, right? Like pretty much everyone knows that at some point in their life, when they've had an upset stomach, their mom has given them ginger ale, right? And back in the days when there was real ginger in ginger ale, it made a difference and it settled your stomach. So this is what I love about it, right? Is that we had this conversation around the flavor and the potential that some people might like it and might not like it, but that the benefits for the people that do like it really truly outweighed, you know, the fact that some people are not going to like it and leads to our additional flavors, right? So two things I want to kind of bring into that is I know that there was a really amazing testimonies around that product settling people's stomach. And then after we talk about that, I want to go into the little highlight that we've recently decided to put on our package, because that's really important too. So tell me some of that testimonial, that just kind of like mind-blowing testimonials around the ginger.
Everywhere. We've had great, super success. It seems like, you know, I would have to look at the actual numbers, but it seems like with pancreatic cancer patients, that's been one of the patients that have benefited the most. I think that may be due to the type therapies that they take.
Huge.
You know, because when we built this product, we were building it to fix a problem, which was nausea and upset stomach and vomiting, weight loss, lack of energy, those kind of things. We didn't know that this market was so expansive and that that there was other niches of Oncobitez that we could create and build that were outside of the spice one. So we went into that just kind of like, I really think we lucked up, because in doing it that way, and that goes back to what I say about I believe everything happens for a reason, because if we didn't come out with the spice initially and had that feedback, I don't think it would have pushed us in the direction to be able to say, hey, you know, this pancreatic patients that's on this therapy, they like the spice better than they do any of the others, because the chemotherapy has changed the way that they taste and the way they sense what food they're eating. Now we've noticed that, okay, there's patients that love chocolate, that love sweet stuff, that are drinking chamomile tea. So that want higher protein, that want more calories. So we've developed a product specifically for them now. And then following up to that, we've also developed a product that will be out towards the end of the year, hopefully, is that it's a cherry lemon tart, which is really good for the secretagon and patients that have dry mouth, and also the head and neck cancer patients. So we're starting off with these taste sensitivities, which are the top three that our dietitians have referred to us, and that's spicy, sweet, and tart.
Yeah.
And we'll build out from there. But those three seem to be the major ones that the cancer patients gravitate to while they're on chemotherapy, is those taste specifications. And we're trying to build it to that.
Yep. And this is just so huge to me. And this is where I feel so passionate about this project too, is that, you know, I don't know of any other product anywhere. You know, people put flavors on things, obviously, but no one is really addressing this taste sensitivity thing. And I can tell you, probably everyone in the world knows someone, has experienced it for themselves, recognizes, you know, when I talk about our taste buds being this innate tool that we have, this powerful thing that is talking to our body, no one has experienced that more than the chemotherapy patients, right? And I've had conversations with Butch about, you know, different, he sees trends in, I'm sorry, I said Butch, I meant Dr. McAllister, you know, in these trends in who is getting what treatment and how it affects their taste buds and what they're more sensitive to. I think they're platinum-based chemotherapies, right, that make them very sensitive to salt. So we're very conscious of not bringing more of that metallic flavor forward. So, the fact that each package, each product that is being developed is not only real food-based, real nutrition, easy for them to eat, high in calories, which, you talked about the Ritz cracker thing. I think that was probably Dr. McAllister's only goal, was to get some calories in them, right? So to offer them something that's more nutritious and more real food and more, less processed is a huge step in the right direction, but also very conscious of even some of those people that were trying to eat a Ritz cracker didn't want the salt, didn't want the crunch, didn't want the hard, right? So this is just such a more focused, more specialized, right, product for each patient going through different therapies. And the fact that this taste sensitivities are on there, I think just, sets us so far apart in this product being very, very intentional for the patient. I mean, the fact that you're bringing in all the right people, the dietitians, the oncologists, the boards, you're talking to the boards of dietitians. It's just really, really powerful. And again, even though I'm part of this project, this is so in alignment with my messaging, right? It's so in alignment with the power of our taste buds and the wisdom that is there, and really is a chance for people to use your product to invite people to be like, what are my taste buds telling me? Right? Why is it? What's the correlation here between this chemotherapy and the experience that I have? Why things don't taste good or why they do taste good? And I also think that the protein conversation is an important one to have, because we have it in our brains that we think protein is the only thing that's good right now. And that is just not true, especially in these cases where people just need the energy, right? They need to get through the day. This is not like a meal replacement. We say that, right? This is not meant to be a meal replacement. This is something to support you on those tough days after chemotherapy. And it's such a great niche.
You had asked me a minute ago about sharing, some of the experiences, and that makes me think of one, because there's a lot of different ones that I could go into, but one of the ones, even this happened at Dr. McAllister's practice, where we had a patient say, I've just been so sick, I haven't been able to eat anything. Thank you for recommending these Oncobites to me. He said, I had my pack of Oncobites, and 2 hours later, I was able to eat a hamburger. So it's like Sherry's saying, we're not saying this is all the nutrition you need on these days, but it gives you a start, it gives you a base, it gives you something to at least prepare your body, your stomach, for additional food later. And we get a lot, that's probably been our biggest, the most response we have gotten back is that it settles my stomach. It allows me to eat something else, which is the goal. We want to keep these patients healthy. We don't want them to get into that deficit with calories and then not be able to come out of it.
Right. And that's huge. It's huge to market it that way too, because as soon as people see a bite or a bar or something that, it's immediate in our society that you think it's going to be a meal replacement. It's going to be something that, like, healthy people are thinking of it as something that you can grab on your way out the door and not have to eat breakfast, right? Like, that is not what this is. And anyone who's cared for a cancer patient or been a cancer patient recognizes that there's a whole different level, right? There's this whole different level of need in a very different way. And I think the flavor sensitivities, the texture, the fact that it's real food, and the fact that you can't say enough about the importance of your background in this, Butch, because not only your personal story with your daughter, but your understanding and your experience and your exposure to this world is not something that you can just hire a chef to create a product and have them understand all this. Like, it takes this entire team for this to be, really, really impactful to these patients. And that's what our goal is here, right? Like, this is a patient-driven need. This is and that's what keeps you going. We call Butch the honey badger. I hope you don't mind me sharing that on the show.
That's I totally get it, because when I first, I don't think I said it on the first meeting with Sherry, but it was shortly after, where I was like, I didn't come all the way to Colorado to participate.
Right. No
we
participation
came to
trophies.
take over this thing, and I really, that's the way I feel about the opportunity that we have. Not only with Oncobitez the way it is now and how we're developing it, but the things that we want to do in the future to bring in these other therapies. CBD, that's going to be our next product out, which I'm super excited about. It's going to be the same flavors, but you'll have the opportunity to purchase a product that has a therapeutic amount of CBD in it to also help those patients that need that. Right. So we're trying to be very innovative. We're trying to deliver a product that patients need and they want and that they'll ask for. And on the other side of the coin, I feel like we're being very smart about our business by partnering with community oncology and supporting the cancer centers, because what we do in regards to our wholesale agreement with the cancer centers is they take those extra funds and provide other services to patients. We let them decide that, whether it be, Meals on Wheels, or, having a ride to their therapy, or, massage therapy, that they're offering there in the clinic. Because lots of times those don't pay for themselves. So we support the cancer centers, but our number one goal is supporting these patients and building a product that, there's just so many people sick. There's so many people dealing with these symptoms and these side effects that come along with these therapies. I can't believe somebody hasn't built what we've built before, but somebody's got to be first, and we're going to be first, and this is going to be our market. So I'm very, very excited about, everything that we're doing.
And, and I think that again speaks to you. It speaks solely to you, because it takes somebody from the inside of the world to see it, to recognize it, and to bring the product to the market in a way that people on the inside have respect for, right? That people on the inside are going, yeah, I have no idea, And I think what's fascinating too, and I won't spend a lot of time on this because I want to kind of wrap this up with one little highlight at the end, but it really speaks to your purpose and your true reason for doing this. Not only your personal story, but the fact that you're bringing in, we started off really thinking that we could talk to the doctors about this and have them write it into the protocol, but recognizing that the dietitians are the power here, right? The dietitians are the one that understand the language of nutrition and understand more about what to tell the patient. And they're not always working in the same room as the doctor, right? So the fact that you've kind of created this panel of dietitians with Riley at the head, to really make sure that we're speaking to the people that are talking food and nutrition to the patients is huge. So kudos to you for that. The last thing I want to talk about is that we have talked about ginger. You mentioned chamomile. Let's just give them a little bit of highlight of what spices are involved, because that's the other thing that sets this product apart, right?
Yeah, please. You're our chef. You tell us a little bit about.
You're going to kick it back to me.
Yeah,
I was really testing you.
I'll leave that kind of. I could do it, but I love like how you explain it, because you really get into, what the spice means to you and how you've seen it work and how you incorporate it to make it synergistic with the other spices. I mean, I can tell you what spices are in the product and kind of a 30,000 foot view. But you're really our chef, and I think that should be your.
All right. Okay, so yes, ginger for the first one was huge, right? And I remember that first time that God, I'm sorry, you guys are both like brothers, so it's like when you talk about one, you feel like you're talking about both of you. You're both such wonderful people. Okay, Dr. McAllister, when he first kind of showed me those testimonials from patients that hadn't eaten for 2 weeks, and then they ate Oncobitez, and then they ate a burger. I mean, that brought me to tears, right? Because that's what the power of these spices has. That's what, it's this careful thing to navigate in the world of supplements and food, because you can literally walk into natural grocers, Whole Foods, anywhere and get like ginger supplements, right? Like we, for some reason in our world, we've decided that we need to separate these things. We need to call this food and we need to call this a supplement, and this has to have a regulation of this. And it's like, that's the whole reason I created, culinary spice blends to begin with, because I'm like, why aren't we just eating this food? So herbalists, there's so much of a background that I have that it's just enough wisdom and knowledge to bring to this product. So ginger for, nausea and not feeling well. There's turmeric in it for inflammation. There's black pepper to work in conjunction with the turmeric. We've got cinnamon in there, which helps with inflammation and keeps blood moving. We've got, and a couple of the spices are separated out again because of, like for a specific flavor. So there's ginger in the first product, there's not ginger in the second product, but the second product has chamomile in it. It has a higher, they actually both have chamomile, but there's a higher level of chamomile in the second product, which is our peanut butter chocolate chip. And, that's to kind of, you spoke to people who are drinking a glass of tea, right? So there's the equivalent of chamomile in that product to help bring a calming sense to it. The first product also has oat straw tea in it, which is a nervine reducer. These are just, some of the things that we bring to this, in addition to all food, all food ingredients, which is so huge to me. Avoiding natural flavor and having all the taste sensations coming from real food is a huge deal. So those are some of the highlights of what we have in our product. And truly, I feel like there's part of me, like when I talk about this, I feel like I'm being a little commercial, which of course I am, because we want Oncobites to succeed, but at the same time, it's so true. And I just love having you on this show because it's this alignment, right? It's this alignment of people trying to help people and putting products out there that highlight taste, that I highlight the importance of flavor, that honor what people are going through, what patients are dealing with, right? Around lack of appetite and not wanting to eat. And if those patients can take this product and let it melt in their mouth and give them enough energy to, move on to the next phase of healing, what more can you ask?
That's what I was trying to interrupt you so bad about, because I wanted to be sure that people heard that, because of the high fat content, it's so easy to eat. I mean, literally it melts in your mouth with a sip of water. And that was one of our goals up front. And, we talked about all the spices and the ingredients and things, but I wanted everyone to understand too, just how easy it is to eat.
Right.
Small portions. I mean, it was truly built specifically for these cancer patients. I mean, that's really to sum it up there. I mean, it's
a perfect note to end on. Butch, thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your diligence, for your honey badger attitude, for going and going and going and going, and making this a reality. We will be putting a link to Oncobites at the bottom of the show. And so why don't we do that real quick? Just let people know how they can find Oncobites.
Yeah, www.oncobites.com, or you can ask your cancer center pharmacy if they have it on the shelf yet. If not, that's something we're working on. And if you have a cancer center you think that may be interested, or that you would like to have samples, to share with maybe some of your patients, or if you know someone, let Sherry or I know, and we'll be glad to help where we can.
I love it. Thank you for that.
This was very much appreciated. Thank you so much.
I so appreciate having you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.